When we think about angels and demons, we often imagine a battle between good and evil, or we imagine a little demon on one shoulder and a little angel on the other, and the two are battling out. But in reality, it's much more nuanced than that. The so called demons often represent wounds, fears, or inner coping mechanisms, while the archangels help us understand, navigate, and heal them. Today, I'm going to help you discover which archangel may be walking beside you right now to support you through some of the shadow areas of your life. Welcome to Mystical and Practical, the podcast that demystifies the soul's journey, the spirit world, and spiritual practices. I'm Meli Guidance, a past life psychic, certified Akashic Records reader, and channeling coach. Here, we talk about spirit guides, the Akashic Records, reincarnation, and everything that connects the seen to the unseen, all with both feet firmly on the ground. Ready to decode the spirit world and connect with your inner magic? Let's jump right in. Hello. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to my office. Come along. I have my rooibos tea. So if you want to grab yourself a cup of tea, I say tea, it's always herbal tea with me. At least pretty much always when I'm recording. So go grab yourself a cup and let's take the first sip and let's get going with that episode. I'm so glad you're here today. I am recording an episode that is a bit unlike the other ones I recorded. It's a very specific topic. So we're going to talk about archangels, inner demons, and the role these spiritual energies can play in our personal growth journey. So I'm going to demystify everything. Don't worry. I'm going to talk about what an archangel really is, how they help us. I'm going to explain why demons are often protection mechanisms or unhealed wounds. And I'll also share the story of the very first archangel who appeared to me during a meditation. And stay until the end because I will also be offering a short quiz to help you discover which archangel may be accompanying you right now. And I will do a pick a card with you with my very new oracle, the Angels and Demons Oracle. And so you can see what collective message the guides want to share with you right now. So it's actually a pretty interactive episode. This is going to be fun. And as I just mentioned, I have my very first oracle out. Yay! I don't have it in my hands though because my publisher is in Paris and they always mail me a few copies of books or now oracles that are out. But you know, transportation being what it is now, I haven't received them yet. I haven't received them before they launched. So I am going to do the card pull with the PDF cards that I have. But yeah, it's my very first Oracle deck. It's available in Europe right now, and you can pre-order it if you're in Canada or in the US. Like it's on Amazon pretty much in every country, and it's in French. So if you know me already, you know my publisher is in Paris, so everything they publish is only in French. But I do mention it on this podcast because I know a lot of francophones opt for the English podcast. Like they rather hear me speak English. So there you go. I passed on the message. And so this Oracle deck, it's been published by Secret d'Étoile Édition, and it's beautifully illustrated by Mathilde Foignet. And it was born from a deep desire I had to demystify both our shadows and light aspects. So in the Oracle, you have 12 angel cards, 12 demon cards, and there is also a balance card that I called Alchemy. And obviously, I will put the links in the episode description, in the show notes. Okay, so let's get into our subject. Let's start with the archangels. I know that there is a lot of confusion around archangels these days because Some people see them as something strictly religious, and others immediately think of feathers, angel numbers, miraculous signs, or supernatural beings that are intervening in our lives or are watching over us. And yet, archangels extend far beyond traditional religious frameworks. I am not attached to any religion, and I do resonate with archangels. But it is true that their presence appears in many spiritual and religious traditions, including Christianity, Judaism, and Islam. So today, many people perceive them as beings of light, spiritual consciousnesses, or universal energies that are accessible to everyone, regardless of their beliefs. And I would say today, if you are religious and you are here and you're like, yes, there are archangels in my religion and I completely relate to this, great. If you're more spiritual like me and you're like, oh yeah, I like that concept, I like angels and archangels, great. And if you're kind of in between, well, I'm here to demystify everything and you will be able to have an opinion about it by the end of this episode. And if you're wondering what the word archangel means, well, it comes from a Greek word. And I don't know anything about Greek, so let's hope my pronunciation isn't too off. But it comes from two words. The first word is arche, which means chief or first. And the second word is angelos, which means messenger. So kind of the chief messenger. And unlike guardian angels, because you might wonder, well, what's different between a regular angel and an archangel? Well, unlike guardian angels, archangels tend to accompany individuals in everyday life. I'm sorry. Let's rewind. Angels, they tend to accompany us in everyday life versus archangels, they have a much broader and much more collective scope. So they act on a universal level. So angels, more individual, archangels, more universal. And archangels exist on a very high level of consciousness, which is one reason they often come easier. It's often easier to channel them in the Akashic records. And if you're not familiar with the Akashic records, I invite you to listen to episode 18, which is entirely dedicated to that topic. And archangels are often associated with major universal missions, such as protection, healing, delivering messages, bringing clarity, and helping with spiritual growth. And what I love about this perspective is that you don't need to belong to any specific religion to connect with these energies, as I said. You can see them strictly as spiritual beings or more like entities that are linked to your religion. Maybe it's just simple archetypes. For me, I kind of take everything in those perspectives. I know certain people are very drawn to archangels and others not so much. And I also think that depending who you are drawn to, it depends on the wounds or the challenges that you're experiencing right now. It's almost as though certain energies become more present in our lives during specific stages of our evolution. So, for example, someone experiencing a great deal of fear may feel especially connected to Archangel Michael's energy. And meanwhile, someone working on self-expression or communication may be drawn to Archangel Gabriel. So it really depends on what you are going through. So this was my speech about presenting the archangels, but I'm going to balance it out with the demons. So what we often call demons, to me, they represent unhealed wounds, defense mechanism, fears, or unconscious survival strategies that we have. And in my Angels and Demons oracle, demons are not evil entities. That was clear from the start when I was working with my editor, that we wanted something soft, something that was more aimed on shadow work and how can we work on our spiritual development with these concepts of angels and demons. Demons represent things like self-sabotage, fear of shining, doubt, perfectionism, the need for control, isolation, resistance to change. And I think it's important to mention this because there's so much fear-based spiritual content today. It's as though every difficulty, block, or heavy emotion is automatically caused by an energetic attack or a negative external presence. And honestly, I think far more people are held back by their own inner fears than by invisible demonic entities around them. So I like to bring it more to our inner selves and our inner mechanisms. So this is how I see demons. So now you know how I see archangels, how I see demons. I would like to show you the 5 main archangels so you can kind of get a sense of who they are. So the first one, I mentioned this archangel, it's Archangel Michael. He is the archangel of courage and protection. You often see him with his sword and he is cutting through the fears. So if you are experiencing a lot of fear, anxiety, maybe some endings in your life, some major transitions, if you're having a lack of confidence, if you're feeling like you have a lot of negative energies around you and you need some cleansing, even cutting yourself from all of this, you may be drawn to Archangel Michael's energy. And in my oracle deck, he is associated to the angel of courage. And his energy often helps people move through self-sabotage, the fear of taking action, and the fear of judgment. The second main archangel I want to talk about is closely working with Michael, and he is Archangel Gabriel. He is all about communication and authenticity. So he is associated with expression, voice, creativity, authenticity, and healing the fear of being seen. So if you're afraid of speaking up, taking your place, if you're afraid of even like conflict, inconveniencing others, or you're afraid to express who you truly are, Gabriel may be playing an important role in your journey. Now, the third archangel is Archangel Raphael. He is all about healing, and I work with him like every time. Like, maybe this is TMI, but yesterday I had a menstrual cramp going to bed and I was like, Archangel Raphael, I need you. Like, I called out to him in my head telepathically because my husband was sleeping. But I do that from time to time when I have ailments. I call in Archangel Raphael, and he's really good with healing. Lovely green energies that I'm sensing when I connect to this archangel. So if you're going through some fatigue, emotional healing, it can be burnout, periods where you feel like you need to realign yourself, like when you're physically sick, as I said, his energy is incredibly gentle and restorative. So 2 thumbs up for Archangel Raphael. You have a satisfied customer here. Okay, 4th archangel is Archangel Uriel. She's all about clarity and discernment. She's very helpful if you are confused, if you feel lost, if you feel stuck in doubt, if you are unable to see a situation clearly. I also like to call upon her when I need to make a decision and I see like 2 paths, like path A or path B, and I'm really confused. Like, she's really good helping with discernment. And the fifth archangel I am presenting to you today is Archangel Chamuel. And he is all about love and the heart space. So he works closely with relationship wounds, self-love, opening the heart chakra, working on fears surrounding vulnerability. And if that name rings a bell, it's because I did mention Archangel Chamuel in episode 20 about imagination versus intuition. And it is because he helped me find something that I had lost. So on top of him being associated with love, the heart chakra, he's also really good at helping people finding lost objects. So that's a good ace to have up your sleeve. Now, I would like to share something that maybe not be as TMI as my menstrual cramp, but I would like to share the first archangel who ever appeared to me, and that was Archangel Gabriel. What's fascinating is that at the time, I knew absolutely nothing about archangels. Like, I knew of the concept, but I didn't know their names or what they helped with. I was simply doing a guided meditation to meet the archangel accompanying me. And during the meditation, very well so, an archangel appeared and I asked for his name and he said Gabriel. And he told me he was helping me with communication. At the time, it made perfect sense for me because throughout my life, I had always been trying to express myself in different ways. I had worked in communications, I studied theater, I was playing in theater plays, and yet I always carried an underlying fear of rejection, conflict, being seen. So I was feeling like I wanted to be center stage, but at the same time I had that fear, but that the desire to be on stage was bigger than the fear of being seen, if you understand what I mean. And that's something we really often do in our soul plan, like it's kind of fighting fire with fire. And later, when I began exploring my soul plan, I realized that my life path revolves heavily around communication, self-expression, authenticity, and especially healing the fear of being seen and heard. So looking back now, it makes even more sense. So this is the first archangel that I connected with, and I still feel a very, very close connection to that archangel. Now I'd like to talk about a spiritual belief I had to unlearn about all of this. I had to deconstruct over time the idea that everything dark, quote unquote, is automatically bad. At the beginning of my spiritual awakening, like many people, I was attracted to a very light, focused spirituality. So very high vibrations only, positivity, love, and light, and it's all good, but it was as though spiritual growth meant, never feel fear, never doubt, never feel anger, never feel anything negative, never have any wounds. Everything has to be perfect. You heal all the wounds and then you're all clear and you're all light and you're perfect. But over time, I realized that some of our deepest sufferings comes from rejecting parts of ourselves. Often the areas that we most want to avoid are the ones most in need of love, of awareness, and of healing. And that's also why the demons in my oracle deck, they do not represent evil. They represent shadow aspects we all carry to varying degrees, whether it's self-sabotage, the fear of shining, as I was saying, fear of letting go. And honestly, I think far more people are held back by the fear of being seen, the fear of failure, the need for control, then by some hidden demonic entity lurking in their living room. Now, that may be fascinating in Hollywood movies, but in real life, our greatest battles are often far more internal than supernatural. Okay, so now let's liven things up. We are now at the interactive part of the podcast. I'm going to go back to the Archangels for the intuitive quiz. And I'm going to guide you through a short quiz to help you discover which Archangel may be accompanying you right now. So what I will do is that I will ask you just one simple question, and there will be 5 possible answers. Okay, I will give you 5 options, A, B, C, D, or E, okay? And the goal isn't to overanalyze. Simply choose the answer, so the letter, that feels the most instinctive or obvious to you. Okay, so here's the question. When you're going through a difficult period, so that could be a period of conflict, a breakup, a streak of bad luck, a loss, or a major life transition. So when you're going through a difficult period, how do you most often react? Okay, choice A. You freeze, procrastinate, or put off important decision. B. You are afraid of being seen, heard, or fully yourself. C. You feel emotionally, mentally, or energetically drained. D. You fall into doubt, confusion, or overthinking. E. You withdraw into yourself or close your heart to protect it. Okay, so now you need to choose, is it A, you freeze, B, you're afraid of being seen, C, you feel drained, D, you're doubting, or E, you are withdrawing. Okay, so if you chose letter A, so you freeze, procrastinate, or put off important decisions, you may be especially supported by Archangel Michael. His energy helps people who struggle with self-sabotage, the fear of taking action, or difficulty trusting their own abilities. So Michael often helps people find the courage to move forward and take action. And I know I said he's the protector, but archangels are multifaceted. They help in different ways. Now, letter B, if you are afraid of being seen, heard, or fully yourself when you're going through a difficult situation, Archangel Gabriel may very well be present in your journey. His energy is connected to self-expression, authenticity, and healing the fear of being seen, the fear of self-expression. So he might very well be there with you. If you chose answer C, so you feel emotionally, mentally, or energetically drained, Archangel Raphael may be walking beside you right now. His energy is strongly connected to healing, rest, regeneration, and emotional and energetic alignment. If you chose letter D, if you fall into doubt, confusion, or overthinking when something is difficult, Archangel Uriel may help you find greater clarity. Her energy often supports people through periods of confusion, indecision, doubt, mental overwhelm. So she's especially helpful when it comes to spiritual discernment. And if you chose the last answer, if you chose E, you withdraw into yourself or close your heart to protect it, then Archangel Chamuel may strongly resonate with you and what you're currently experiencing, because he works closely with relationship wounds, opening the heart chakra, giving yourself self-love, feeling worthy of love, and the fear of being vulnerable as well. Okay, so that was the little quiz. Let me know which one you got and how that resonates with you. Okay, now let's do the pick a card. I don't have the cards, but it doesn't matter. What I did is that I told the spirit guide, so I let them come in and told them this is a collective pick a card reading. And I worked them with the PDF cards that I had. So I had one PDF for each card, and I just, put my finger and I started scrolling, and I stopped after a few seconds. I was like, okay, card A, and I opened my eyes. So this is how the two cards were chosen. So if you are watching this, you are going to choose between card A and B. So you're going to see the verso of the back of the card on screen, and you're going to choose by the one that calls you the most. And if you are listening to this, just choose what letter calls to you the most. When I say letter A or letter B, you're going to feel which ones resonate most. Okay, so I'm just going to let you a few seconds because I want this to be very intuitive and I don't want to go into over analyzing mode. So here are the cards. Are you choosing card A or card B? Okay, stop. Okay, stop. Choose your card. If you chose card A is Archangel Michael. So we all already talked about him. He is the Archangel of Courage. And the simple is message, yet very powerful. So the message I channel is that you are invited to have the courage to be yourself. Trust who you are and stop hiding the gifts, ideas, and dreams that have been placed within you. This is not the time to hold back or second guess yourself. Move forward with confidence and bring your projects to completion. Take action, create, manifest, and allow your unique light to be expressed in the world. Do not let the criticism, negativity, or limiting beliefs of others discourage you. The opinions and energies around you do not define your path. Stay focused on your vision, remain grounded in your truth, and keep your heart aligned with what you know you are here to do. So you see, Archangel Michael, however you want to pronounce it, reminds you that courage is not the absence of fear, it's choosing to move forward despite it. So stay positive, trust yourself, and keep going because you're far more capable than you realize. Okay, if you chose card B is the demon of self-sabotage. So this message comes with as a reminder of the power you may not fully recognize within yourself. And the message is you have far more value than you give yourself credit for. There are people around you who are waiting, perhaps even without realizing it, for someone to show them that what is possible. Your courage, your choices, and your actions have the potential to inspire others to create change in their own lives. Do not ignore your natural leadership qualities. You do not need a title, a large audience, or anyone's permission to be a leader. Leadership begins the moment you choose to trust yourself and move forward. The demon of self-sabotage often appears through overthinking, hesitation, and the belief that someone else will take the first step. But here the message is clear: stop waiting and stop over-analyzing. Trust your intuition and allow it to guide you. The answers you seek are not found in endless reflection, they are found through action. So you are being called to step forward, claim your space, and lead by example. The moment you stop doubting yourself and start moving, new opportunities will begin to unfold. So trust your inner guidance, take the first steps. Others may follow, but you must be willing to go first. Okay, so that that was the message for card B. The thing is, you may very well have been torn between the two cards, and maybe you were a rebel and you chose both card A and B. And that's completely fine, because if you found yourself between these two cards, I feel like they complete each other. And so I think both messages might be meant for you. Together, these cards tell a powerful story. So Archangel Michael's message is about having the courage to be yourself, trust your path, and move forward despite the fear. And the demon of self-sabotage reveals that what may be standing in your way, so overthinking, self-doubt, hesitation, and the tendency to wait for the perfect moment, quote unquote, before taking action. So in other words, card A shows you where your soul wants to go, while card B highlights what may be holding you back from getting there. So you may already know what you want to do. You may already have the idea, the project, the dream, the calling. The challenge is not a lack of guidance. It's learning to trust yourself enough to act on it. So these cards together suggest that you are being called into a leadership role, whether in your family, your workspace, or your community, or your spiritual journey. But before you can inspire others, you must first give yourself permission to step forward. So the message that is blending card A and B is clear here. It's to be brave enough to be yourself and to trust yourself enough to take action. So you don't need more time, more signs, or more validation from others. The next step may feel uncomfortable, but growth often begins where comfort ends. So your intuition is already speaking, your courage is already available to you, and the only thing left for you is to move. So let me know in the comments which card you chose, or maybe you chose both. Let me know how all of this resonates to you. And as always, thank you so much for being here, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Mystical and Practical podcast with Meli Guidance. If this episode spoke to you, please subscribe to the channel and leave some stars, a thumbs up, or a comment. It truly helps to share the podcast with other old souls seeking a deeper understanding of the spirit world. If you're interested in getting an Akashic Records reading, a tarot reading, or joining one of my online courses, you will find all the details at meliguidance.com. This podcast was edited by plcm.ca and the original music was composed by record.bandcamp.com. Until next time, remember, we are all souls having a human experience and we can all be mystical and practical.